like that Seth has spread so much misinformation that at times I'm not gonna lie, like I don't know if he's guilty. But then at times I'm like, God dang, if he's not, he sure looks like the most guilty guy I've ever met in my life. Like, how can you
I
do this?
mean, I don't think he's guilty. I just think like I think he's guilty of something else. That's just I'll leave it at that. But I think that he is I think he's not a great person. I mean, he's not a very sympathetic. The more you know about him, the less sympathetic he becomes, and that usually like kind of makes people have a biased opinion. Now, I mean, like I think like him stating that he's at his job to me kind of says like I don't think that he could have possibly done it because if he was lying to YouTube saying like, "Oh, I was at my job" and all this stuff, and the cops would have been like, "Oh, well, that's proof that because we have proof that you weren't at your job." You know what I mean? And I don't know. I mean, you could go with the theory that he hired someone or did something like that. That's always the possibility. But to be honest with you, there has not been like any real proof of that to support that. So that's
Well,
more of
his clock-in time was given out or whatever, and in that they say that he does it himself.
I got the
Have you a
wine.
drink. Pour you a drink.
Got the sangria.
That's right.
Listen, I have to. Okay, I'm a retired correctional officer. I actually worked at the jail that Brian Kohlberger was being
Oh,
held
wow.
in. Okay, I'm going to tell you this, and I'm not pointing fingers at Seth, but his alibi is not so tight as everyone thinks. Okay, I worked with a guy who he was what they would call an overtime hoe. So he would like, if overtime came, he took it. And when he was going to do overtime, he would sneak out of the jail around 4 o'clock in the morning. And sorry, I'm a little hoarse. I was singing all night. But he would sneak out of the jail to go feed his dogs. And all it takes is someone that has the key to let him out and to let him back in. And the supervisors didn't know, our sergeants, our lieutenants, they didn't know that he had left the jail. The fact that Seth Rogers was gone from the camera for 2 hours, is sus to me. So I'm just putting that out there. Like, his alibi is not as secure as everyone wants it to be. Now, do I think he did anything? I don't know. I, I'm not going to blame any parents. People are pointing fingers at Katie and Chris. You got to point that finger at Seth, too. You got to point that finger at everyone. None of us were there. We don't know what happened.
But Mary, Seth's the only one searching for Sebastian.
No, he's not.
Bitch, you got jokes today.
That's fucking bullshit.
Mary said, no, he's not.
You're right. You got jokes today. And you know what, though? Listen, that's what I said too. And people were like, what? I'm like, well, correctional officers can sometimes they can go and come and go as they please. You know what I mean?
They can.
It just takes a little swipey swipe of the badge or the keys to let you in and out.
That's right. If you got a friend that'll let you in and let you out, that's all it takes. That's all it takes.
The bubble with the buzzer. You know what I mean? Don't even take keys. Just buzz you in and buzz you out.
No. Like, so like the jail I worked at, in order to get out of the front door, you couldn't get out the back, which is like what they call intake. That's when, the cops come and bring you in there.
Yeah.
But if you're going out the front door, you need a key. But if you got somebody that'll turn that key for you to let you out, and then you call them, this is what he would do. So he'd have somebody to let him out, and then he would call them when he was close to the jail and say, hey, be ready to let me in. And they would go up there and let him in.
And be ready to go. Yep.
And that's all it takes. Like, people think you're in the jail. You're in the no. If you got a friend and you're cool with people, you can get in and you can get out. And the fact that Seth said that or Tony said, or Seth was sleeping in a car or a truck, that is sus to me, because that means for 2 hours he was off camera. That's sus. I don't know. Many times that I sat and took care of that guy's unit that I worked with. I ain't putting his name out there, but I sat on his unit and took care of his job so that he could go feed his dogs. So I know that it's possible. It happens.